In my last video, I opened the floor for you to share on your perspective on which is better, to buy or to rent a property. Many of you have privately messaged me to share your opinion, in which I am eternally grateful for the reach. But I would encourage you to share it in the open so that others might see too and give their opinions. Okay, I told you in the last video that I will share my point of view. So here goes. The answer is, it depends. In short, if you rent, there are pros and cons to it. Now, let me talk about the pros or the advantages. Number one, definitely there is no mortgage worry. Number two, lesser cash upfront as compared to purchase. There's no need to cover the management fee or even the sinking fund. And of course, there is less commitment. What you only do is basically you're just paying the rent to stay at the place, and the rest of the thing is actually taken care by the landlord. But of course, if there's minor repairs, most of the time you are responsible for it. But if it is a major repair, then of course the landlord would have to come in. But having said that, if the property that you are staying in is not well taken care of by the managing council or the managing agent, in that case, then you are probably at the mercy. In this case, because since you are not the owner, so what you can only do is basically, I will put it, suck it up, right? Having said that, well, you can choose to move, but if you have already settled in, technically, most of the time it is quite inconvenient for you to move out because there's a logistics that you need to think of. There is time, is time consuming, and at the same time, it's also quite physically tiring because you'll be moving the things. Even though you have movers, but you still need to pack, right? So unless you are really someone who live minimalistically, I think most of the time we do have our personal effects, and that might be a burden when you want to move from one location to another. And of course, there is also the rentals that you need to look into because you now need to find a new location and renegotiate the rental. You may transfer the rental fee, the deposit, and so on and so forth. So these are the things that you might actually have to navigate, which can be quite cumbersome and at the same time time consuming. So do take note of that. Okay, what about the cons, disadvantages of basically renting a house? When the landlord sells the property, the lease is transferred to the new owner. So technically now you have to answer to a new owner, which might have other plans, because at the end of the day, if the new owner chooses to sell the property for his own gains, then he might just give you a notice and you will have to pack and find another location. Okay, another disadvantage is that aside from you are at the landlord's mercy, if the demands for property goes up, the landlord might actually raise the rental when the lease is due. Sure, you can move, but it's a huge hassle again, right? Especially after you have settled in with all your stuff. Okay, another one will be, so if the property appreciates, you can only sit and watch because, well, at the end of the day, you don't own the property. You have no beneficial interest in the property except for just staying there. And that's about it. And at the end of the day, it is basically you paying for someone else to own the property and you paying for someone else to be able to further their investment. So it really depends on what is your plan. In short, if I were to summarize it, if you are looking at the property as a vacation home, maybe then renting is a better choice because you have options, a lot more, I would say. And you won't be settling down as permanently as those that are on long lease because then you won't be buying a lot of things. Whereas if you are looking at long-term basis, then buying might be a better choice because at the end of the day, there is capital appreciation that you can look forward to when the market picks up, and you can look into selling the property and get some money back, right? But in the meantime, of course, what I recommend is if you are looking for long term, especially on a purchase basis, perhaps you can consider renting first, maybe for about a year to test out the market to see whether or not you like the place, the location or not, to get yourself acclimatized while you're keeping a lookout for value landed property to purchase. And for your information, what was the decision that I made? I chose the landed at Iskandar Putri area because I wanted space and less congestion. And of course, a slower pace of life. While some may choose the city center, or maybe even areas like mature area like Mount Austin, Johor Jaya, KSL. But again, the lifestyle will be totally opposite. So it really depends on what is your choice and what do you really want. But at the end of the day, if you were to really ask me, if you can afford it, I would say maybe seriously consider purchasing the property, because at the end of the day, there is always capital appreciation. And while you are renting from somebody, essentially, yes, you may have choice, you may move around, you may have the options to pack and go, so and so forth. But at the end of the day, the property just doesn't belong to you. So if you are going on the investment route, look into purchasing a property, especially so when you are able to do your homework and purchase the right kind of property that can promote and encourage capital gain. So that's all from me today, and I hope whatever that I have just shared will help you in your decision making, whether or not to buy or to rent a property. Having said that, if you have your own opinion and your own ideas, please don't hesitate to share it down in the comments below so that everybody can learn. Once again, thank you for following my channel, and I hope you can click and like and subscribe and also share my video with all your friends so that we can continue to grow and make a smarter and wiser investment decision.